Okay, YouTuber trick of the trade, because I've done 3 videos now, so I'm an expert. But if you're going to do back-to-back videos where you're wearing the same clothes, change something about your appearance so that you can hone in on the right videos on your phone, i.e. the glasses. So anyway, from my vast experience as a YouTuber, um, there you go. If you're going to do this, change it up a little bit. You can find it easier. All right, this video, again, this one's going to be pretty short. I just wanted to, you've made the decision. Congratulations. You've decided you're coming to Prime, or you're going to be a trucker and you're just looking into Prime. Getting connected. It's not that difficult. I'm going to give you a few little hints and let you know what to expect from the moment, but it's what you would think. You look it up online, and there's a recruiter number. But from there, I'll let you know kind of how it goes, how it pans out from that point forward, and hopefully you get something out of it. All right, see you on the other side. All right, well, let's get into it. Like I said, the purpose of this video is to kind of take you from you've made the decision. You've decided, yes, I'm going to be a trucker. Yes, I'm going to come to Prime. So at that point, what do you do? And like I said, I'm not going to. The obvious is the truth. You Google primeinc and training or whatnot, and you'll get the website and you'll find the recruiter number. I think everybody will know how to do that. And you call the basic recruiter number and someone will answer the phone. I will say that I did that first. That was once I had come to the decision. I had already watched a ton of videos. I had connected to the driver hub Discord channel. I hadn't really done anything with that other than read a lot at that point. But anyway, I reached out. I called the main number. I was put on the line with a recruiter. I had a whole bunch of questions that I wanted to ask the recruiter, and I want to be honest on here. I'm looking forward to Prime. It has a lot of good. I'm not going to say his name, but the recruiter I got put on with, I was not impressed with at all with the first one. I was trying to work through my questions, and the person that I was talking to seemed completely disinterested and just wanted to get off the phone, to the point where I didn't even feel like he was really listening to me. I had some pretty technical questions. I'm someone who does have sleep apnea, and I've been on my machine for over 15 years now. I'm and very compliant and everything. But I had questions about that. I wanted to work through that process and a few others, and I just didn't get any interest from this guy. But anyway, the process is the same. You get that person. Once you've done that, you get off the phone, and soon after you'll get an email that has kind of a brochure type of page that takes you through the various steps on there, and it has a link for your application process. It'll take you to an online application. Now, if you read that link, it does, as I recall, it had this person's name in it. And so if you use that link to get to the application, that's how you're kind of automatically put on that person's caseload. Now, I wasn't ready to do so. I had to give more than 2 months notice on my last job. So I made the decision a long time ago, and I had to wait. The application has a 30-day shelf life. So I wasn't ready to do that yet. I had made the decision, but wasn't ready to apply. Now, for those of you that don't know, like I said, it has a 30-day shelf life. You can do it again later if you need to, but if you're not at Prime 30 days from your application, I do believe they make you do that part over again. But anyway, that's the process. You get a link. You go to the application and you fill that out. There is a list on there too. Definitely read the list of the items that you need before starting that application process. It'll refer to your driving record, things like that. Be truthful, and this I'm getting more from videos than this. Be as truthful as you can be on there. I believe that once you're at Prime, they make you do it again, and they compare the two. So don't fudge anything on there that you can. Now, one of those I did have to guess on. There was a piece to my driving record from years ago that I wanted to divulge, but I wasn't sure of the date. and it gave me a little description. I had to put a date in there, which was a guess, and I did put in a description thing that, in capital letters, I am only guessing here. I'm not lying. I'm just not sure, and that turned out to be okay. But anyway, when you are ready, you do that application process, and then in a few, I think mine took maybe a day or two, and I was approved and given a date that my orientation would start. Now, backing up a bit, again, I said that I did not put in my application using that link. For one, I wasn't thrilled with that recruiter, and I wasn't ready to do so. In the meantime, on the Driver Hub Discord channel, I had gone into the introduce yourself. I put in a post or two just about who I am and when I was planning on coming. At that time, I had planned on leaving my job and coming to Prime early January. But out of nowhere, Eric from Driver Lineup reached out to me just based on the dates lining up. He had said that, he saw that I was coming at the turn of the year, and he said he would be available early February. And so I put myself on hold when we did a little chatting, a phone call, and decided that it sounded like a pretty good fit. So I put my leaving the job on hold, and I worked an extra month before leaving so that it would line up all right. Now, I was incredibly lucky with that, and I am so appreciative that he extended that to me. I certainly can't say that that's going to be your experience, but there is a big backup on trainers. If you've watched vlogs of people going through, they go right through their orientation, they get their CDL, and then they're waiting, for weeks maybe at home. You're getting paid during that time, I believe, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But if you're like me, you want to get going. You don't want to be sitting at home pulling your $900 paycheck, which is nice, but you want to be moving towards your career and getting it going. And I really feel for folks that are in that position. So I would suggest, the hub can't hurt. You're in chat rooms with hundreds of drivers, most of them Prime, many of them are trainers, and they're constantly giving updates. Half my trainer now will be done in a few weeks, things like that. And I can't promise that it'll shorten anything for you, but it might, and it's certainly better than nothing. You do see people connecting with trainers on there fairly regularly. So as a tip there, I would say you certainly want to get on there. Now, my experience on there, I've talked on with people on there a little. I haven't been overly active. For one thing, I've got a kink in my brain that I'm one of those people that can't stand missing anything. So I start my day a lot of the time just scrolling through everything I've missed, and by the time I'm caught up, it's time to get my day going. I don't do a whole lot of chatting on there. And also, the conversation on there, you learn a lot just reading. But a lot of the time, if you're not a driver, it's kind of hard to jump into some of those conversations because it's between drivers and that kind of thing. And, it's a little foreign to you, at least in my experience. So I've had a few conversations, but I've gotten a lot out of just reading through it. And I can tell you, it's a resource that will only build in benefit as I move into actually becoming a driver. I mean, I've seen people that are hitting a bad situation at a particular shipper or receiver, and someone will jump in and say, "Oh yeah, I've been to that one. That's the wrong entrance. Go around the back. That's where you want to be." That kind of thing. So I mean, that can be invaluable. So I highly recommend getting in there. All right, beyond that, so you get your application done. Read the list before you open that application. There's a list of documents and information that you will need. Make sure you have them because I went through the whole thing. I don't know what happens if you don't have something and have to stop. I don't know if it saves your progress or not. I would assume that it does not, and you might have to close it and start up. I think it gives a number that if you're unable to complete it, to call a number. So I'm not sure how that works because I didn't do it. I did have everything. With one exception, it did ask about my DMV record, and there was something from 20 years plus ago that I needed to put in there, but I wasn't sure about the date. So I put a rough estimate and put in a description that I'm not lying. I put capital letters, not lying, just it's an estimate. I need to consult a DMV record for the exact date. And that turned out to be okay. So anyway, that's mainly what you need to do. And from there, after that, depending on your answers, you'll get an answer within a day or two from your recruiter of whether you've been approved. And with that approval, we'll give you a date of your orientation to begin. I think I've had maybe three or four phone calls with my recruiter since the beginning. I've had many emails back and forth, questions, concerns, things like that. After you're approved, your recruiter will send, it's a series of emails, each one with a different topic. One is about your DOT physical, one's about your test. With me, one of my things was sleep apnea, getting connected with the Cardinal Sleep there. I'm probably going to do another episode on sleep apnea because I have some experience. I've been on my machine for over 15 years now, and I love it. But I've seen a lot of concern with people that have gotten selected for sleep tests, and certainly some concern when they get their results, which can be, that's a rough day when you have had your sleep test and you get word of how many times an hour you stop breathing. That's scary stuff, and I think I can help with that a little bit. There's some anxiety. I always do this. I'll have an episode in mind. I've got 10 episodes in my brain, so I tend to jump a little bit. But I will say on that, yes, you do stop breathing, that many times an hour. However, you're still here, and you haven't been on a machine for many years. It's a great machine, and it'll change your life, I'm telling you. But it's not as dire as it appears. Yes, there is a potential for fatality, with it. But I know I see a lot of panic with that number, and it makes sense. You're stopping breathing, but there's obviously something in you that's kickstarting you too, because you're still here. So that's the kind of thing I'll talk about in that, and maybe I can help that through a lot. So you'll get that series of emails that will take you step by step through everything. But basically the next step is your DOT physical. It will say what to bring for that. If you're on sleep apnea, you will need to get a report of your compliance for 30 days and bring that with you. I'm going to be doing a DOT episode as well, so I'll save that stuff. But kind of gives you the step-by-step and the documents that you need to start gathering for your recruiter. Birth certificate. One of my questions was the website had looked like you needed a passport, which I don't have, and I was kind of panicking because when I looked into getting a passport, they were talking about like 10 weeks to get a passport. So that was one of my questions for my recruiter is that necessary? And it turned out it was birth certificate or passport. So that turned out well. I have my birth certificate. It said on the website it can't be any kind of Xerox copy. Now my official one has, it has the filigree around the sides in blue ink and that kind of thing, but the middle is a photocopy, their photocopy of my original birth certificate, and I was worried about that. So I sent that in, and she sent it to the powers that be, and they decided it was going to be fine. But all of that kind of documentation, questions, concerns, and submissions should be done before you ever get there. I recommend, even if she doesn't ask for it, I have sent a picture from my phone of every document that I've received and sent, and she gives me kind of the go-ahead on every one of those. One of the things that you'll get from her, it'll connect you to another app, Driver Pulse, which is just an app used for communicating with your recruiter. It gives instructions for the DOT. It gives the barcode that you need to show, that kind of thing, at the DOT physical. And it's a means of transferring documentation back and forth. So you'll get connected with that as well. So aside from that, and I'm going to do episodes on DOT and the test separately. So that kind of is where this gets left. There's a lot of email traffic with you and your recruiter and a few phone calls, but I can't say enough good things about Barbara Brown, which was mine. I will put her contact information in this and every other video that I do. I highly recommend her. If you get one that, the first one I had, I was not impressed. I would recommend not going with that person. Go into Driver Hub and talk to some of the drivers. You'll get several of them that are good. I've heard recommendations other than Barbara Brown. But everybody that I've seen that has Barbara Brown has been happy. I think River Rich, and I know Eric from Driver Lineup, that's where I got her information. Both of them are big fans of hers, and so am I. She's been wonderful. I don't know if I mentioned it, that she doesn't always get back to you with, immediately. They're really busy, but she's always gotten back to me. It's taken a couple days, here or there, maybe even a little more, but she's always back, and she gets things done. Once you talk with her, you're rolling again. So things are moving very fast right now. As I sit here, I'm done with everything basically. I'm ready to go. I'm just getting life stuff done right now, bills and getting things kind of tamped down here. But as far as what I was required for going to Prime, I'm pretty set. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope this is helpful. My next video will probably be on the DOT physical. So hope to see you there. Bye-bye.